Hello everyone, a very good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all of you. This is your host Vaibhav. In today's session of Daily Stock, we are going to talk about the quarterly earnings of AbbVie, which is a biopharmaceutical company, a leading name in the therapeutic segment in the not only US but across the world. And if we look at its recent quarterly earnings, its revenue seems to be rising faster in the international segment after having secured a leading position in the United States. Its recent quarterly earnings are showing growth in the revenues, but what is more interesting is the remarkable growth in the net profit. Even though the revenues haven't risen much, the revenue growth is in low single digits. But then, if you look at the bottom line, the net profit that has jumped manifold, I think it has gone up more than four times from its earnings for the same quarter of fiscal year 2023. So there is that story which is much more interesting to look at than simply taking into consideration the low single digit growth in the revenue. So we will see in details what are the driving factors behind this growth and how the next couple of quarters are likely to unfold for the company. We will see what are its expectations. The forward guidance will also be taken into consideration, and afterwards, we will also go to the price movement of the price over recent days, recent weeks, recent months to see if there are any emerging opportunities for us to take into consideration after having seen its fundamental businesses. Let us now head to the quarterly report. This is the Form 8K, which is filed with the Securities and Exchange Commission every quarter. Now we straight away head to the key highlights of the first quarter 2024 financial results. The EPS came in at US dollar 0.77, which is an increase of this is the remarkable growth percent here. Mark this 492.3%, and there is one good reason, one key factor why this is happening, which I will explain to you later. The first quarter revenues came in at US dollar 12.310 billion, which is just 0.7% growth on the reported basis. Then these different segment earnings are reported. To get a overview, we will straight away head to the consolidated statement of income, because if we go into the fine print, we will need a lot more time, and time is really short on hand. This session simply walks you through the key highlights and the market reaction to it, and then it leaves you with an informed outlook on which you can act and trade and invest. These are key product revenues, segment-wise: immunology, oncology, aesthetics, neuroscience, eye care, and other key products. You can get this data which gives you the idea of increase or decrease in the revenues from these different segments and key products from individual segment, and whether the growth is happening in the US market or in the international, and then cumulative impact. I would suggest you go through this to understand which product is performing well and which product is performing not so well. Now we have the consolidated statement of earnings. The revenues, as we said, hasn't really risen much. If you compare this figure, we have the growth of 0.7%, which is not anything to be impressed of. But then if you scroll down, you have the net earnings attributable to the Abbey Inc. at US $1.369, whereas last time around there was net income of 239 million. So there is this interesting jump, and the major factor behind this difference in the earnings is there at the other expense. We will have to go through the notes provided with the statement of earnings. The other expense was related to one acquisition, and that had resulted in the expense of user 1.8 cumulative expense. Now that is down to US $586 million. So there is this difference of around 1.2 billion, and that pretty much explains this growth in the net earnings now for this quarter. Otherwise, if we consider different items, there is not much of a change. Of course, on the higher income, the income tax provision is also on the higher side. Apart from that, not much has changed for the company. In the pharma space, it takes time for any product to be invented and then clinically tested, and in course of time it gains the trust of the patients and the doctors, and the revenues start to pour in. So this is a slowly changing sector. We don't really see any significant change in the revenue happening in a single stroke, and for that you have to always keep an eye on the company's product pipeline to see what are the sectors the company is actively putting products in and how those products are being received by the consumers at large, which are of course various hospitals and patients and doctors. Now, we don't really have the cash flow statement with us in this file, so we straight away head to the price formation of the AbbVie. Let me, here it is. This is the short-term price formation of the AbbVie. We have seen it rallying from around 165 to 173 in the span of a week. Its recent price formation has been bullish. It has been gaining ground since last few weeks after its earnings report came in, and it found support closer to this 160 price range. It has consolidated, there was extended consolidation, then slight decline. But since the start of this month, the thing seems to have turned for better, and there has been almost 10 percentage growth in its price in the month itself. So in this single month, it has clocked 10 percentage growth for its shareholders, and its current price formation is still conducive for further growth on the higher side. So as long as the price formation remains of bullish nature, we can continue to look for the entries with buy on dips approach. That is the simplest way to exploit this bullish sentiment prevailing in the short term in the ABV. So the price for which you need to watch out for is this immediate swing low of around 165. I feel in the coming sessions, over next few sessions in particular, if there is a consolidation and maybe slight correction, but that correction is contained closer to or above 165, and then there is a sign of possible reversal on these levels. I feel we can try to take some chances and see if there is bullish spurt. With that hope, we can indeed take a bet, and our risk reward ratio would also be quite favorable as there is not going to be much of a risk if we are buying it close to the consolidation range low. And even if it doesn't really work out for us, we can safely exit by keeping our losses at the bare minimum. Whereas if we get it right, then I think we will have a good chance of seeing that we rise beyond 175 or maybe even possibly towards 180 in coming weeks, if not in days. Now I have changed this candlestick time period to daily so that we get a medium term view of the price formation. After having seen its recent swing high at around 182, we saw this sharp dip in the average share price where it dropped from 182 to almost 152, and then on those lower levels it found buying momentum as well, fresh investment poured in, and that has helped it regain some lost ground. Now, moving forward, I feel that we will have to pay attention to the immediate price formation over next few weeks. If there is no further decline and consolidation, which keeps its next swing low above this prior swing low, then we will have much more firm chances of a possible reversal in portion of the AbbVie from the slightly bearish consolidation to slightly bullish consolidation, and in course of time we can expect it to rise beyond 180. But for that, these are too early days. I feel we need to wait for next correction and then consolidation afterwards, and if that materializes, we can of course safely say that there is now increased possibility of these ongoing consolidation taking every on the higher side and try to profit from that possibility. From the long term perspective, the things have been bullish for a while for the AbbVie. It rallied strongly in the year 2021 and then spent next 2 years, the 2022 and 2023, consolidating in this narrow range. After this extended consolidation over a couple of years, it has found this new breakout where it was able to cross and hold above this prior swing high, and after that it went into this corrective phase, and on these lower levels immediately the buyers rushed in, and we are again seeing renewed push towards the higher side. Now the question is whether this long-term price formation is indicating fresh buying momentum or not. I feel there is indeed this strong bullish momentum. We have already seen the company's product portfolio, which keeps it well positioned for further growth in coming quarters. So, in that light, I feel we can indeed count on these formation changing for the better for the long term investment. And if we have to take any decision in the company's current situation, I feel it should be to go long, it should be to invest from the long term, because our risk is not going to be that much at the current price level. We are going to get a decent risk reward ratio, but if there is a deep towards maybe 150, 140 in coming days and it doesn't really decline fast, the prior swing lows which are there around 130 zone, I feel we will have much better risk reward ratio, but we can't really be too sure as when is going that to happen. So we will be needing to take the decision here and now, and in that sense I feel we can take some position at the current price juncture and wait for better price formation over next few weeks and take advantage of it as and when that happens. So that's it from my side for today's session, where we looked at the fundamental aspects of the average business and its technical aspects as well, where we considered these price formation over three different time frames. In it, you can see that the underlying momentum in the share price of the AbbVie has been bullish for a while, and it is likely to remain bullish for a while. The fundamental aspects, the earnings report, the net profit, all are pointing to the growth, maybe at a slower pace, but the growth it is, and that gives you hope that this defensive sector play is likely to bring you profit in the current scenario. Now, that's it from my side for today's session, where we considered this opportunity emerging in the average share price. So, do go through this analysis and see how it can help you making a informed decision regarding the trading and investment with the average shares. Now it's time for me to sign off for the day. I'll be back tomorrow with equally interesting company to work with. See you next time around. Thank you all for joining in. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I am counting on your support. Now it's time to say goodbye.